Welcome to SIINDA and welcome to our Thursday's Thought Leadership Sessions. And we do these every Thursday. And today we have a very special guest who is not just a partner with SIINDA, but also a board member with SIINDA. But before I make the introductions, I'd like to do a few housekeeping items with you. And one thing is, during this session, it will be interactive. You're welcome to ask questions. We have a Q&A button, so please feel free to ask a question. And we're going to be quite interactive ourselves. And with that, I'm going to introduce our guest. And our guest today is Peter Urmson, and he is the CEO and director of Spotzer. He leads a passionate team of people around the globe who are dedicated to making a positive impact on the lives of small to medium businesses. Now, Pete has a vast experience spanning 15 years in digital marketing space, working with major enterprises, and he has a deep understanding of this industry. Peter and his team successfully bring together technology platforms with sales and marketing in this fast-changing environment. And using emerging technologies for success of his customers, this is what really drives Pete. And Pete, as I said, is a board member also of SIINDA, and we're really happy to have him on Thursday's Thought Leadership by SIINDA. So welcome, Pete.
Hi, Kimberly. Thank you. Good to be here. And Kimberly, before we get into everything, I just want to say thank you for the mask, SIINDA mask, that I think that most SIINDA members got. Hope that you're safe and well. And also a really big thank you to Kimberly and all of the team at SIINDA. As a lot of people know, we have the SIINDA conference kicks off in March. And that was like when the world changed last year, and Kimberly and the team did a great job in pivoting the business to becoming a virtual conference. So kudos to you, Kimberly, and thanks very much.
Thank you. I'll put that on the team. Thank you. So Pete, let's go. Welcome to here. It's great to hear you. And this is only, I think, our third thought leadership for this year, and so excited to have you on.
Okay, good. Should we get into it?
Yep, let's go. Okay.
So I really just wanted to cover the topic around emerging technologies, particularly around cloud and cloud-enabled technology services. It's an area that obviously, I mean, that's what Spotzer is. Spotzer is a technology-enabled services business. We're completely cloud-enabled, and so it's something that we have a really good understanding of. This is a bit of a thought-provoking piece around, just understand, just listen to this, that the software sales for digital marketing services globally today is worth 125 billion. That's the forecast for what it will be for this year, 125 billion just for the software. That's not for building things, that's not for the end sales number, that's just for the licensing. That number is forecast to double, so almost $250 billion within the next 4 to 5 years. So it's a big entity, it's a big category. We're right up there with all of the other industries globally. And what's driving that is around the enablement from cloud and cloud technology. If we look back at where we used to be, a lot of businesses ran their businesses off servers and hardware. And to a lot of people on this call, I know that we've got a lot of the different platforms that are members of SIINDA on this call, and a lot of new people on this call. So welcome to all of you. Great to see that you're participating in today. But we all know that the world has changed and the world has moved. But it wasn't that long ago that the world worked off hardware servers. everything is pretty much cloud enabled in today's world. And a good friend of mine recently said, it's kind of, well, what's different? It's kind of, really, it's like a fish swimming in water. We don't know any different. This is how it is. The world has moved, it's moved to cloud enabled services. The key is understanding what are the apps that you integrate into your tech stack, and making sure that you make the right decisions around that piece. So looking at it from a modular perspective, it's building your tech stack with cloud apps that are modular. In doing that, it gives you the flexibility to move around with your product ladders, with your go-to-market strategies, and speed to market. The reason that we all move to the cloud is to reduce cost, flexibility, and greater efficiency. It wasn't that long ago that we would have teams of people building solutions. It might take 3 months to build something, then you would pilot it, then you would fully execute it. Those days are long gone. Businesses now want to move really fast, and they're looking to execute things in days and weeks, not months. And the only way to do that is to work with cloud-enabled apps. And then it's integrating them to build a comprehensive tech stack that makes sense for you and your end customer, that's in line with your go-to-market strategy.
Pete, we're in this cloud first environment, and I see on your slide you're talking about NPS. So we know it cuts cost, it increases speed, but today is all about the customer. So what's the relationship between cloud and what you have on the slide that says it's all about NPS?
Any good software development business will put NPS first and foremost. It's all about the customer experience. It's all about customer engagement. That is first and foremost. If you don't have that, then you get churn. So that has to be the first, that's the number one priority. We as a business, as many others that are on the call today, will put NPS as a key KPI that they drive into their business. If you don't have that, then you need to do that. Or you should seriously look at doing that. I measure everybody within our business around the NPS piece. And the reason is it reduces churn, you get better loyalty, it's all of that good stuff. It's basic common sense. It really means you're offering a great customer service. And the only way to do that in today's world is having a great tech stack that's integrated, and that's based off your cloud apps.
Okay, thank you.
And so Kimberly, just on that, and it's a really good segue, just moving into, Jeff Bezos, we all know, very focused on the customer. And, I've been a very strong advocate of driving NPS. A lot of our partners will know that that's a key piece that we've focused on. And that was really embedded into me as to what is going to make somebody successful in today's world. And it is about the customer experience. It is about NPS. And I had the fortunate experience of working on a couple of projects with the former CEO of Telstra, David Thodey, really successful in transitioning that organisation, Telstra being the big telco down in Australia. And he was known as the customer service CEO. And it was really moving that organisation from what was perceived to have bad service to being good service. And he did that, with real gusto. And to the point that if you would email him as a CEO, he would respond or have somebody respond to that email within an hour, down to that level of granularity. And that is the kind of focus that we need to apply to all software development, to how we build apps and how we integrate them. I'm now going to ask Stephanie, who's in the background, just to play a short video just to really prove that point. Okay.
Hey, Peter, question on that. That was really funny. Just a question on this aspect of Amazon customer service. Do you think Amazon is primarily responsible for changing our thinking on customer service? I mean, customer service used to be quite linear, okay? You do an order, you do something, you get it delivered, and you walk away. And now it's 360 degrees. What kind of influence did you think they had on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Amazon has a great part to play in that, and the whole customer experience and the whole thinking. They are essentially not only the Amazons, but also the Apples of the world and others. They are really educating the market and getting the market used to new ways of doing things. And when they deliver on their promise, they immediately gain trust. It's all about getting the trust of the customer. And you can leverage that. I mean, there's a whole heap of value that's played to that. But if you think, if you will, when you now buy something online, which in these current times, and I know that we have some people in Australia on the call, and we have some people in Europe and in the US, and I know that in Australia, the shift to e-com has been strong, but probably not as strong as the shift has been in Europe and in the US. But you know, with all of that, you know, there becomes kind of that trust element, you know, and if you buy something now, you immediately get an SMS, you immediately get an email telling you where you're at with that purchase, you know, and that life cycle from when you've actually clicked the button to buy something to when it arrives at your front door within 48 hours, you know, whatever it is, you know. There's a great business in Australia called Iconic. Their promise is that they can get something to your suburb within 5 hours, you know, from buying a clothing product. Tremendous efforts, you know. So those are the kind of things that are educating the market, and it becomes an expectation, particularly in these times.
Thanks.
So I'm just trying to move. No. Yeah, exit that. Just trying to. Okay, so from an innovation and trends perspective, it's exactly that, exactly what we've just talked to. Because people's trends are changing and their buying behaviors are changing, if we look at what COVID is doing, it is really pushing the envelope on the expectations from a service perspective. People want instant gratification. They want to buy things immediately. That whole piece means that we need to be very diligent and careful in the types of apps that we buy and that we trust to be able to deliver on the service level. So the whole piece comes about service. And what that means is the expectation on speed and the fulfillment of a process. The end-to-end experience is becoming a whole lot shorter. I know that from our business, if I look at what we've had in the past, you know, 3-4 years ago, we'd probably developed proprietary apps, probably maybe 4. We had about 15 service apps that were driving the business. That's now evolved. We've now, over the last, even the last 18 months, we've developed about 18 proprietary apps, and we have around another 100 apps that we've built into our tech stack and ecosystem to enable us to go faster, cheaper, better, and they are the key mantras that we have in our business to offer the end customer, to our partners, something that's really competitive in market. So that's the expectation of the market. It's not getting slower, it's getting way faster, it's getting faster by the day. And you know, that is testament to the movement in technology.
And Just a question on that. We have this new expectation in the market, and you talked about innovation and technology. Do you think the technology is driving the expectations, or the expectations are changing and driving the technology?
Yeah, it's symbiotic, but I think that between the chicken and the egg, I think that technology is driving it. If I go back to the point around, if you look at when you buy something online, it's almost kind of, if you don't get an SMS telling you that the product that you have just bought has left the warehouse, you're almost conditioned now to think, why haven't I received that? Have I just bought something from a bit of a dud website? So if you trust the brand of the website that you've just purchased from, that might take a few more days, but the technology is absolutely driving that. I know for us, from our business, what we're doing with evolving our business to stay ahead of the curve and to put our partners in a best position to be competitive, where we were, which we were in a really good place even 4 years ago as a business, to where we are now, is poles apart. We used to pat ourselves on the back if we could get a website built and out from talking to a customer in 10 to 12 days. That just seems archaic now. And we've built our ecosystem of cloud apps to enable us to be able to talk to a customer, get a briefing, build a website. And this is just websites. Look at what we need to do from a shop perspective, so e-commerce. We can then get the product published. It's gone through QA, it's gone through all the different iterations and the stages. We can now do that in 3.5 days. We would never have been able to have done that before. Yes, there's a lot of process re-engineering that's come into that, and training and good people, but the backbone of it is the backbone of the business is built on all of those apps, proprietary apps around quality assurance, making sure that customers can upload their own products, and making the whole experience a lot more seamless.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then if you bring all of that together, for us as a business, the backbone of our business is Salesforce. Everything goes through that. It's enabling to ensure that when we have an agent talking to the customer about a product, they can talk to them not just about a single product, they need to talk to them about multiple products. And I know that a lot of the partners and SIINDA members that are on this call, are probably moving to that or have moved to that. But we believe that's absolutely the right call. It's absolutely the right thing to do. You're going to make it really simple and easy for the customer. So it's all about the customer experience.
And Pete, is that more or less one face to the customer then? Or, I know that in the past you said somebody has to be able to talk to them about multiple products. Okay, is that difficult to do with, to train people, or how do you accomplish that?
I think it depends on the approach. Our approach is, we talk to them about the core product, which is, for us, it's a website product, and then it's about the bolt-on products around that enable the customer to be a whole lot more successful. So whether that's an SEO product, or whether that's using Spotzer ads for a paid search product, it might even be a business listing product. We're fortunate. We invested in becoming fully integrated with both Yext and with Uberall, and we get a lot of customers from both of those. Great solutions. So we believe it's not about a forced sale. It's a consultative sale, and that's what works best. But having one person talk to the customer, almost becoming their account agent, is a much better way to do things. And we can do that because we have the technology to support us to do that.
Okay, thanks.
So with all of that, it's about making the big calls now, is what we're always saying that in our business. Let's make the big calls now. You've got to do these things. You've also got to allow yourself to fail, and to learn from those failures. but it's about also moving fast, because the world is moving, at a very fast rate. I think early on last year, when a lot of countries went into lockdown, everybody started to talk about moving to offering their customers e-commerce solutions. And certainly, we kind of try to do our part in leading that, because we could see that businesses were struggling. And what I think that we all know is that in times of crisis, people will buy from people that they trust, and that's trusted brands. And I know that a lot of people on this call, they are from big enterprise businesses, they are trusted brands, and they want to work with other like-minded businesses. So knowing that your customers will go to you because you are the trusted brand, and you are the trusted source, I firmly believe it's incumbent on us to make sure that they understand what we can do for them. And it's not about having 15 people in a meeting room, week after week after week after week, strategizing on how do you do these things to move something from there to there. It's about just really pushing forward and believing in the people that you've got working with you and the partners that you've got working with you. If your gut feel is we should be doing this, then you've just got to go for it and just got to do it. And it's about making those big calls now. We're fortunate in that a lot of our partners who are innovative, they are from traditional type businesses and they have moved their businesses in a really fast way. We're fortunate that they have either done that or they are starting to do that. But I think that if we don't help our customers, they're not going to know, and it's whether that will they be around. So I think that's really important, not just from a financial perspective, but just from being just a good corporate citizen. It's what we have to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Pete, on this question, because I know that Spotzer was quite fast when the pandemic started, and really good with your customers. But how much influence did this pandemic have on actually making people wake up? Because we have a lot of industries. I mean, even pharmacy, if you look at that, I mean, they had, they were always slow, and now they're quite fast. I mean, how much impact did this whole crisis have on making people wake up and recognize speed as being very important?
Yeah, I think if we talk about the e-commerce space, I know we keep talking about that a bit, but I think we at Spots are very passionate about it, because we do believe that part of our mission is to help small businesses be successful, and it's about letting them know that these solutions are readily available to them if they don't know how to do it themselves in a DIY environment, that there is somebody who can help them do that. And typically that would be enterprise brands that they know and trust. But the pandemic has fast forward, particularly with the e-com space, has fast forwarded where we predicted, or where it was forecast that e-com would be in about 5 years' time. It's here now. It's already here. Everybody's now really trying to move with that. They're launching e-com solutions. They're trying to help their customers and make sure that they survive. So the pandemic has just fast forwarded everything. And I don't believe that it's going to go back either. This is going to be something that is just going to continue to grow. It is a new revenue stream. It will become BAU, business as usual, in the life of their business. Some businesses might have thought that having an e-shop might have been a luxury. They now see that it has to be kind of front and center of part of their go-to-market strategy. Just local examples. For myself, the butcher that I go to, he would never have dreamt a year ago of even having a website. Now he's got a website, and now he's got an e-commerce shop. You can go in, you can buy on the shop, and you can go and collect, or you can have that delivered. He's not going to go backwards. People will buy locally with the brands that they know locally, as well as the major brands that are out there for them to buy, whether it's Nike or Adidas, whatever. But they will buy locally as well, and they've become conditioned to that. And I think that's testament absolutely to what's happening in the world today.
So how do you help a small business like that, a butcher who all of a sudden has to go online because he never did it? I mean, how do the partners and how do you at Spotzer really help them do this? Okay, because it must be scary for them because that's not their main business.
It's about getting it absolutely, and it's not their main business at all around digital marketing and digital marketing services. What we try to do and our partners try to do is make it really easy for the customer so that the customer can focus on their business, and then we collectively do everything else for them. And that's why it's really important in what we do. It's important for us to get it right, because we can make or break a business and they won't know. But we are all supposed to be the experts, so we have to know. So if we're supposed to know, we need to make sure that we've got the best solutions, we've got the best apps, we've got the best tech stack, and that we can go at an affordable price point to make it easy for them, particularly in these difficult times. So it's about pulling all of that together. But there's no easy answer to that question. I mean, it's about positioning the products, giving them the information that they need, but not overcomplicating it. It needs to be easy for sales to talk to. It needs to be easy to execute. And that's kind of the main end-to-end goal. Interesting, from Forbes, the winner in these days in transitioning is small business. Small business is seeing an increase in revenue of 150% for those businesses that have moved to e-commerce or have an e-com presence, more so than medium businesses. I think that's a really interesting point. The digital marketing space in itself is moving at an incredibly fast rate. If you look at search marketing and the search marketing platforms, search marketing platforms are seeing great growth and uptake. Whether you'd be working with Bing and Google and Facebook and having that integrated solution. But the search marketing space this year is forecast to be around 350 billion, with a growth in the next few years to move to around 520 billion, just in search marketing. You combine all of that together, the big category, but the end result for the small business owner who's moving online and then might also want to take on search marketing to support them, is a great opportunity. But interestingly as well, for businesses who've moved online, they are typically also publishing on the likes of eBay or Google Shopping or Amazon, and any good e-com solution would do that. You might have entry-level products that don't do that, but then you have another tier that does do that. But any good solution should be able to publish on those effectively what are marketplaces. But Amazon, 50% of Amazon sales, 50% came from small businesses who've put their listings on Amazon. That's just a staggering number. So it's not that this isn't happening, it's happening. And it's incumbent on us to help the businesses that have not done that to now do that.
Pete, on that point, and helping the businesses that haven't done that. So we just finished the SIINDA landscape survey, and we're going to be sharing that in a couple weeks. And we've really seen that, of course, there was a great increase in the amount of SMBs or SMEs, however you want to call it, wherever you are, going online and going into e-commerce. But there's still quite a chunk that haven't. So how do you help those businesses? They might not even understand, what e-commerce is, or that they even have the possibility to put something on Amazon or, Google Shopping. How do you help those businesses?
Again, I think it comes down to, trust in the brand. If they trust the brand source, and the brand is going with a marketing message, we can do this for you. They kind of just trust that they're going to do it and do it in the right way. But to do that, of course, so that you don't erode at that brand equity, you need to make sure that you're working with the right people that have all of that built out and it's tried and tested. And then it's right from the very first conversation, if there is a conversation. It might be DIY, it might be do it with me, it might be do it for me. I think that having a trusted brand, going out with a simple message, don't overcomplicate it, and then having a really simple process. But it's also, if there are salespeople involved in that process, the salespeople need to believe in what they're selling. And the salespeople need to be able to, it's the elevator pitch. They need to be able to talk about it really quickly so that it just makes sense. So the salespeople need to believe in it. And I think the belief from a salesperson is as important as commission. They need to believe that they're doing some good. That's, what salespeople are about. And then it's about making the whole process really, really simple and easy. And you can only do that if you've gone through that test of time around getting those processes and workflows built out in a very seamless way. And that only really comes from experience around doing things in a tried and tested way.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And so that leads into, wherever you do this, if you're not doing it yourself, then leverage experts that can do it. And if you are doing it yourself, you would probably need to be of an incredibly big size, because why would you do it yourself if somebody's already built it out and done it? I'm a big believer in, why would we build it if somebody else has already got it? Let's just go with them and license it. And I would imagine that a lot of people on this call would also take that approach. Although I do know that some people, from a strategic perspective, believe they need to build and own everything themselves. But the question is with that, how fast can you move? And does that actual approach and strategy, does that actually slow you down when you have businesses that are constantly just doing this? And that's what their subject matter experts about. And for us as a business, as I said, we've now built out a number of our own apps, as well as our service apps that we've integrated in, about 100 of them. We look at each element and each app on its merits. We don't just go for everything. We go for things in, is it best to breed? That might be, if we're doing screen sharing, we'll use Crankwell. If from a service perspective, if we integrate in and we need a real best of breed telephony system, we go New Voice Media, and we got all those different Salesforce, they're all up there, they all work together. And then it's about having integrated the different product modules. As I said, Yext, Uber, all of the different website builder platforms that are who are members of SIINDA, that work within this organisation. So it's it's about building it all together. But it's kind of, the question is, why would you go and build it if somebody's already built it? And you can leverage their experience. You don't have the cost, but you also can have the speed to market. It's kind of, for me, it falls in the bloody obvious basket that that's what you would do. But it depends on what somebody's strategy is.
And Pete, doesn't it comes back to speed? I mean, speed is what you're saying, speed and expectation, because as a customer, regardless if I'm working in the business capacity or the private capacity, I mean, I have the expectation now, for example, with Amazon Prime, that I'll get it the next day. And customers have the expectation that if you're going to help us have a digital presence, you're going to do it as fast as you can. So why would you not go to the experts? Would be, to me, the bottom line, speed and not know-how. Speed and know-how.
Yeah, it's speed to market. It's know-how. You know, I mean, as I said earlier, it's kind of it used. Well, maybe I didn't, but it used to take us about 3 months to launch a partner.
Yeah.
You know, it used to take us about 6 weeks to launch a product. You know, it now takes days. Now we can have a partner fully launched within 10 working days,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Great.
we can get a website out, and we can get a whole product suite out. There are all the attachments around that, you know, with up to 5 days as a max. That's if it's the happy path, you know, and that's if, you know, we can go with what we know to work. Then not everybody wants that. They want their different nuances for their particular customer, and for their particular strategy. And, you know, we have to be very respectful for that. But the market conditions are changing, and very soon it's going to become almost that people will want these things doing in an instant way, but they will want to talk to somebody to do it for them and move into an instant, you know, or within a couple of days. So it's really interesting. It's moving fast. It's not getting any slower. You know, I think that it's incumbent on all of us to really push the envelope for those small businesses now, so that they survive and that they are successful. It's far better to get out of bed every day to think that you are doing something, that you are contributing to society and to the SMB landscape, as opposed to it just being about numbers. And that's what we're very passionate about.
Yeah. Important point.
Just finishing on the quote, I won't go through the video again, but one of the richest people in the world, if not the richest man in the world, puts the customer experience at the front and foremost of everything that that person's organization does. I think there's a telltale sign there.
Yeah.
And whilst we in our business, we strive for that, we don't always get there. But the majority of time we do get there. And if we don't get there and we miss a bit of a beat, we jump straight on it to fix it. But the customer experience is king.
Mm-hmm. Great last words, Pete. So yeah, Pete, super last words. I'd like to open up for questions to Pete. So Stephanie, do we have any questions?
No, I don't see any questions coming in. So feel free to send some questions in the question bar.
So Pete, let's say you have a crystal ball, okay, and we're sitting here 1 year from now. Where do you think we'll be? You know, do you think we'll have most SMBs with e-commerce online? We've seen such rapid change in the last 9 months. In your crystal ball, where do you think we'll be, or where do you hope we'll be?
Where I hope that we will be is that we're really supporting small to medium businesses, and that we've helped people get through this difficult time. You know, that's where I would hope to be. I mean, it might not seem that inspiring, but I would, you know, that is kind of our key focus at the moment, is helping our partners and helping their customers to be successful, period. It's going to market with meaningful solutions, things that work, you know, where we've tested things, we've tried them, and we've proven that we can deliver things that are scalable and very cost effective, and that the end product works. You know, that's where I would want us to be. I've always wanted us to be, you know, striving for that. In terms of businesses moving online, absolutely. You know, our key message is it's incumbent on us as a business to help those small businesses. And I know that some big enterprise businesses, you know, that it's kind of like turning an oil tanker, takes a little bit of a while for them to turn. For us, we're a really super small business. We can move fast, we're nimble, we're effective. You know, so we can spin, we can move on that. We've recently launched, for us as a business, we've just launched sales as a service. So with all of our partners, we have many touch points where we talk to our partners, customers as a white label solution. It's probably easier for us to talk when we talk to that customer. It's probably easier for us to talk to them about what their needs are, and it's probably easier for us to upsell them with an e-commerce solution and for us to then execute them. It's probably easier for us to talk to them about a paid search solution, and then with the integration of the apps that we've got with Spotzer ads. So, I think for us as a business, it's about making sure that we support those business in a consultative way, selling them products and services that they need that we know is going to help them. I wouldn't want to be selling them products and services that they don't need, because that will only just generate churn, and that's just not a good thing to do for the customer.
So Pete, we got a bunch of questions coming in here. So I have to kind of look at my screen while you're at from the US. Pete, do you think new businesses will replace businesses that failed during the pandemic and they will be quicker to adapt cloud tech? And thus, will there be a second wave acceleration of tech adoption post-pandemic?
Look, quite possibly. I think that what we do know is that business owners who are entrepreneurs, the age of 25 to 39, the types of products and services that a business like ours offers, which is what people on this call offer, it is front and center of what they do. There are a lot of more traditional businesses, bricks and mortar businesses that have not transitioned but are looking to transition. And I think that, if you live in a city centre, you can walk around, and in these days you can see, is that one going to be around? And you almost want to wrap your arms around them and help them, to show them what the possibilities are. But I think that, typically it's something like 50% of new businesses fail within the first year. So I don't know whether that's going to change. But the businesses that have been around a while, if we all can help them transition, obviously they have a stronger likelihood of surviving. And I think that's what we should focus on, as well as helping and driving the new businesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've got another one on cloud. So in terms of investing in IT cloud-based startups, given the current situation we're all living in, is your expectation numbers will go up or down in the next 2-3 years? And if up, would you expect new type of investors to appear in the market alongside with the traditional investors?
Yes and yes. There's lots of new great ideas that are emerging. The industry is just gathering pace. I know for us as a business, we could just keep developing apps. We're all that, but we don't, because my view is somebody out there is already doing this. Let's look at that, license it and integrate it, and that's kind of gathering pace. And those kind of things, just for our business, I know that our needs are changing because our customer needs are changing. So yes, I think there's going to be a lot more businesses, a lot more app startups that are growing, and I think obviously that's going to attract new investors as well. I'm sure that many people on this call, you're always getting emails from people who, from an investment perspective, want to talk to you. So my sense is that is just it's moss rolling down a hill. It's just going to gather with momentum.
Okay, great. And back to Spotzer. Here's a question from Ireland. And Pete, can you go give us a little bit more information on your 3.5-day website build, touch points, milestones, just generally how it works, what's associated with it?
Yeah, we have what we call Happy Path, Everything is built on Salesforce. We can, as long as we have full API connections, we work within our processes, we can build a website within our templates, we have content injection that we can control. As long as we have all of those pieces in place, we can deliver on that. So salesperson makes a sale, order comes in, we can immediately call a customer, they get communications that we're about to have the call, and as long as we go through that happy path and we can talk to that customer immediately, which we have a high success rate on, then we can go into production. Production takes, days, a couple of days max, including quality assurance. All content is uniquely wrote through our freelance copywriter network. As long as you got all of those pieces together, then yes, you can deliver on that promise. So it's driven through SMS communication, through immediate touch point and talking to the customer, API driven, great templates within a great web building platform.
Super. So 2 more questions for you, Pete, before we get to the end. Question from the United Kingdom. Have you seen any new tech coming on board during the pandemic that is supporting SMBs?
Yeah, yes, we've seen lots of tech. We're looking at new solutions every day, and then make an assessment. Is that really important to the end customer? How easy is it to integrate? Is it important? But I also have to say, we work with any great business, any good marketing services or managed services business that offers integrated solutions like ours. I would hope, like ours, is working with best of breed platforms. I believe that we are already working with lots of best of breed platforms, and it's really encouraging to see all of those best of breed platforms stepping up, investing, evolving, and offering more products and services and solutions within those platforms. Mm-hmm. So we've integrated some on the back end, more to help us through with production and reporting. But the platform we already work with, as I said, a best of breed, and they're investing in and advancing their products and features, so they make a meaningful difference to the end customer already.
Great. And our closing question, which also has a very nice comment in it, coming from the Czech Republic. One thing I've taken away from your talk is that the customer is king. What happens when the customer demands faster and cheaper goods and services, and an SMB just can't adapt fast enough? Do you think technology can offer some competitive advantages and help them?
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I also think that when you can actually get to talk to a customer and talk them through what it is that you're trying to work with them on and trying to achieve, they understand that. And then it's about making sure that within your product ladder and your product stack, that you've got things at entry level, real entry level, and then kind of maybe it goes up a little bit, to massage them through to meet their needs of their budget. Yeah, I think as technology gets faster, as we all get faster, as we get better with our processes, and cost comes down, which it is, then we can go to a broader audience and we can meet the needs of everybody.
Great. Well, great, Pete. So again, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us today. And everybody, we've been talking to Peter Urmson, and he's the CEO and director of Spotzer. And a great team you have there, okay? A great team you have around the world. And also, Pete, as board member of SIINDA, thank you so much for joining us today on Thursday Thought Leaders.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. And for our listeners, if you want to learn more about SIINDA, please send us an email at either info@SIINDA.com or directly to me, Kimberly, and that's with an I, at SIINDA.com. And please tune in every Thursday at 1700 Central European Time. We will have thought leaders from all over the world. And also you can listen to our podcasts, which are also on Voice America. So listen to those and join some of our events. And please join our social media, both on Facebook and LinkedIn, so you can get latest updates on what's going on at SIINDA. And with that, I thank everybody for tuning in this week. Thanks again, Spotzer team, Pete, and everybody have a great week. Until next week. Ciao.